Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you basically how I access this webmail. And again, I could use any of the browsers that I wanted to. This is my Windows machine, and boy, this is probably a little hard to see, but basically I have access to Internet Explorer and all these other things, but I like the Google Chrome browser. So I'm going to use that in this case. If you haven't downloaded it, you might want to try it. You can download it at let me see, google.com/Chrome, or you can just search for it if you wanted to. So with that said, I'm going to basically close all the tabs, and I'm going to get back out just to show you how you access the email. So we have a web page. It's webmail.gmavt.net. Or if you go to our main page, www.gmavt.net, you can see you can go to webmail if you'd like and basically go to that and access it. However you access it, just make sure you make this a favorite and you can log in. So I'm going to log in using an account that I have, GMAVids. That's my username, that's my password. Now, a cool thing to note too is if you have multiple accounts with us, if you click on this and then click on login, you can log into multiple accounts at the same time. So that's pretty awesome. That's something that our folks here created. Adam, he is one of our programs. But for now, I'm just going to log into one account. So I'm going to log in here, and it's going to come up, and nothing too awesome. It's just a basic screen with a couple of different things on here. All right, so one of the things you'll notice is there's a very minimalistic approach to email here. You'll see that there's not a lot of things up here. There's your basic compose buttons. There's some folders on the side. We'll talk more about those later. And that's basically it. One of the nice things you can do right off the bat if you wanted to is if you go over to this cog over here in the right hand corner, this cog is kind of handy. This is basically a nice starting point for any help that you need or to change any settings. One of the things you'll see in the upper right hand corner is this whole idea of themes. And we have themes here. All right. So themes are a nice way to present the email client to you, this email. So now we're not using Outlook, right? We're using a web browser to access our email, right? So that's maybe a little different than what you're used to, but we're using a web browser to do that. And within this web browser, you can play with certain things. You can have a dusk theme if you wanted to. Ooh, look at the dusk theme. It's a little darker, a little, dusky, I guess. You can have it brighter if you'd like. You can have a lavender theme if you're feeling a bit lavendery that day, whatever that means. You can even do things that are a little more funky, like pebbles. These are things that come across that are pre-made themes. You can see there's pebbles in the background. So that's kind of fun. There are also, if you have your own picture too, one of the things you could do is go to custom light or custom dark themes down here. You could add a picture from, let's see, you could add a picture from, change your background. Oh, these are images that I set up earlier. You can add another picture back here. You could be your own picture if you want to from your computer, or it can be something that they kind of throw up in front of you. Let me see. I'm going to put the bear on there. I'm going to click on select, and now you'll see kind of a bear in the background. It's kind of hard to see, but there he is. So, a little chance to kind of make things nice and neat for you. But for today, I'm just going to keep things simple. I'm going to make it a simple blue. I know it's kind of boring, but what the heck. So here we go. This is our main screen. As you can see, anything you kind of hold your mouse over, it reveals things to you, right? If you hold your mouse over this right here, that means refresh. If you hold your mouse over this, well, if you click on it, you can do different things. So you'll see that there's not a lot of icons, not a lot that you can do right now until you click on an email or you open it up. To open up an email, you just double click, and that opens it up if you want to. I can go back to the inbox. So I double clicked an email, and now you'll see it's not bold anymore because I read it, I opened it, I looked at it, right? So that's what that means. The other thing that you can do is the minute that you click on the checkbox, you see these different icons showed up. And these are different things that you can do with this. You can now move the email to another folder if you wanted to. You could label it. We'll talk about that later. You could put it in the trash. You could mark it as spam if you wanted to. Or the other thing you could do is you could archive it. Think of archiving, and this is important. In Google, Gmail, they say you have so much, their whole thought process is you have so much space. Why not use it? Why remove the email when you could simply archive it? Archive it. What does that mean? Archive, what does that say to you? It's in a vault. It's for safekeeping. You'll always have it around. And archiving is an important thing. And now, what you do is when you have a bunch of messages that you want to archive, that is, archive means it's going to come out of the inbox, because I know you're looking at this and you're saying, man, that's a busy inbox. There's a lot of stuff in there. I don't like to see stuff in my inbox. One of the things you can do is you could read them, and then what you could do is automatically put them into your archive. So by selecting them, you can either open a message and click on archive. Now that message is gone. Or you could select multiple messages at staggering levels, and then put them in archive, and they're out of your inbox. Now, where do they go? You would think that if you clicked on archive, they would go to an archive folder. Well, no, not really. Unfortunately, they don't really do that. What they do is they go to all mail. That is your archive box. That is where everything sits and resides, all right? So if I wanted to, I could select everything out of this archive and move it back into the inbox if I wanted to. So now here's my inbox, and I've got things back. So the thing to note is whatever you archive and get out of your inbox goes into all mail. All mail is sent stuff. It's even stuff in the inbox. It's even stuff that you drafted, or that sort of thing. That's what all mail is, okay? Now, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but one of the things you'll notice is in your email, there's something that says inbox here. Inbox is not really a folder. It's a label. It's something that we apply to it. So you can have multiple things applying to a certain label. And I'll show you, and these are labels over here. So let's say, I'll talk about labels here a little quickly. Let's say that I like this, this is a message for Kurt. He's my boss. He's kind of an important guy. So I could have it in the inbox, but I could also do something called, I could label this email. So I'm going to create a new label for this. I'm going to call it boss, all right? And so now you'll see that this is not only has an inbox label to it, but it also has a boss label to it. So when I look at this, Kurt's in a boss label, but it's also in the inbox. Now, if I remove this from here, you're going to see that it's no longer showing up in my inbox because I removed the inbox label, but it's actually now in my boss folder. Isn't that neat? On the left-hand side here, there's something called boss. I created that on the fly. So now when I click on boss, I see all the emails associated with Kurt that I marked with the boss label. As a matter of fact, I could even mark them as important if I wanted to. Here, I'm going to get rid of these labels real quick just to show you the value of this. I'll do that here too. I should have had this done ahead of time, but just to show you. So my boss label is there. So now when I look at all my archived mail, I can see all my boss message. So you see how you can label things nice and neat with color, and it's actually very, very cool. This is a way to organize things of importance. Maybe there's a certain project you're working on. So I might say, create a new label down here. See, there's multiple ways to do things. I could create a label down here on the fly. I could call it work project. And I can create that. And now what I can do is I could assign these guys right here with the label work project just by clicking on this. Click apply. And now all these guys are going to be showing up in my work project. Isn't that neat? So it's a neat way to use labels. And we'll talk more about that because there's a lot more that you can do with that.